Happy May, everybody. As we step into the months of April and May, I, Allison, am finishing up my maternity leave. To give me a break from podcasting, we're pulling content from our group coaching calls inside our private coaching group, the Better Belly Blueprint, to share with you. Today's topic is from my client, Krista. She asks, what are the possible causes of my oxalates being so high? I have no candida or mold on my oat, and I don't feel like I overeat oxalates. To be truthful, my true vices and everything that I've given up are high in oxalates, coffee, dark chocolate, and a good glass of red wine, but I'm giving up wine this month while doing these protocols as well as alcohol, which I only had 2 glasses a week anyways. I'm also weaning off coffee, and I'm really hoping I don't have to completely give up chocolate, but what do you think? Krista's question comes from the fact that she got testing inside her program that showed she has elevated levels of oxalates in her body that was part of the root causes driving her symptoms. Oxalates come from a variety of places, not just food, but one place that you can often control them the most when you're in a healing phase is in your diet. So what Krista really wanted to know is, what foods does she actually have to give up? Is it all foods with oxalates? Is her oxalate problem really about food, or is it possibly about something else? This is a great question, and one that opened us up to talking about the deeper root causes behind oxalates other than food, because oxalate sensitivity, by the way, is never about food only. If you've ever looked into the low oxalate diet, or if you're stuck on a low oxalate diet and want to know if you can ever come off, this episode is for you. Additionally, I have a whole podcast episode on oxalates and their root causes behind them that you can check out. It's episode 148, the oxalate episode. If you're new to oxalates, or you want to do an even deeper dive into them and finally get off of the low oxalate diet, then I highly recommend checking this episode out next after this one. And P.S., if you want to ask questions to me just like this one and get my live feedback, now you can. When you join the Better Belly Blueprint and add on group coaching at our super affordable price, you get access to live bi-weekly group coaching calls just like this one and unlimited daily one-to-one coaching inside our private Facebook group. Enrollment's open now, so there's no need to wait. Go to betterbellytherapies.com/blueprint to read more about the Better Belly Blueprint and join today. Or if you prefer to learn via audio and video, go to betterbellytherapies.com/training and watch the free training I put together on why and how the Better Belly Blueprint will help you overcome your toughest symptoms even when nothing else has worked. Are you ready to hear Krista's answer? Let's dive in. Hey friend, welcome to the Better Belly Podcast. If you're currently trying endless supplements, doctor visits, and diet changes to heal your mystery symptoms, you are in the right place. We're here to solve the real root causes behind your gut, hormones, skin, sleep, and brain concerns, literally anything and everything in your body. My name is Allison Jordan. I'm a functional medicine practitioner that has supported over 150 clients just like you to heal problems that no one has been able to fix. You don't need a perfect diet or a random supplement you found on Instagram to heal. You need a proven system that heals your whole body from the inside out. That's what I'm here to share with you, episode by episode. It's time to make health easy again. And just as a reminder, this information is not meant to diagnose, manage, or treat disease. Always consult with your own health practitioner before you make any changes to your health. Next, we're going to do Krista. So her main question, I'm not going to paste it all because she'd have given me a lot of details, but it's basically, why are my oxalates high? What could possibly be causing this? So just a confirmation, we're going to scroll down. There's our oxalates. They're high. So highly recommend going checking out the diet sheet that's included in, there's like a link to this in your protocols for the low oxalate diet. And in the first page, it's why are oxalates problems for some individuals? This is created by the FDN program. We're allowed to reshare it. I think it's such great information. I'm just sharing this. Like, I'm not going to try and edit it. And basically down here, it says, normally people are going to absorb 1 to 2% of the oxalates that they eat, right? So usually it doesn't matter how much you're eating diet wise, but when there's gut inflammation and leaky gut, then you can absorb as much as 50% as those oxalates in the diet. But it's not about diet, right? It's not just about diet. And I'd say typically it's not primarily about diet. Diet is the only thing we can do in the short term to quickly bring oxalate levels down. But in the long term, no one should be needing to avoid oxalates, right? If your body's functioning correctly, you're only absorbing the 1 to 2%. You're never going to get an oxalate overload. Never, right? I don't get oxalate overloads at this point. I did at one point. So then the other options are antibiotic use because it kills bacteria that have to do with breaking oxalates down. By extension of antibiotic use, you can think basically dysbiosis of the gut, even if there's not specifically antibiotics. A lot of times when there's going to be other pathogens, you're going to have undergrowths of certain healthy colonies and overgrowths of other healthy colonies. And if you're getting an undergrowth of your bacterial colonies that help with oxalate breaking digestion, then even unrelated to antibiotics, just having other pathogens can set you up for this issue of overconsumption of high oxalate foods. So that is like, where food can become a part of the conversation. Micronutrient deficiencies, B1 and B6 in particular. That's partly why I have the B6 complex. There's a lot of reasons why the B6 complex is in there, like so many good reasons that I'm just like, just take a bunch of B vitamins. There's also can be stuff going on with calcium and magnesium, but calcium and magnesium immediately become a little weird when there's also like low stomach acid involved. So that I don't usually like blame calcium and magnesium on high oxalates. We're just aware that those minerals have an impact on oxalate digestion. Fat malabsorption. This one was interesting because when I'm reading this list, and I actually have this list generally in my mind when I'm looking at someone's labs, I'm looking through this and I'm thinking, what do I know about Krista and what seems the likelihood? Okay, well, we know she's got dysbiosis of the gut. She's in this program. She's got other pathogens. She just told me that she's been intentional about minimizing her high oxalate foods, which she talked about in the question, which I didn't post for everybody. Yeah, does she potentially have some micronutrient deficiency? Sure, it's more common if you've been sick, but like doesn't I have a lot of people who've been sick for a long time who don't have high oxalate levels, but do have micronutrient deficiency. So that doesn't feel like a win. We got to fat malabsorption, and here's what I did. I went into your GI map, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
here's what her steatocrit looks like. And it was killer. I'm like, ding, ding, ding. We have our winner, right? So all we're doing is scientifically, it's almost like when you're given a multiple choice and you don't actually know the answer, but you're like, well, let's just cross off the least likely ones and get down to the most likely ones. So it's like good testing skills, essentially. So you have, yeah, not so great fat digestion. And that's going to be a multifaceted component, right? That's going to be low stomach acid, low bile production, potentially low pancreatic enzymes. Though this elastase marker is a marker for pancreatic enzymes, you're not horrible. So we're probably going to lean towards the stomach acid and bile as two
Mhm.
big guys. And bile is more related to liver health, so good thing you're doing a liver protocol. Good thing that you're going to be, taking some digestion, GB. I don't know if you're taking any acetyl L-carnitine, but uh,
Yes.
okay. That's also can be really helpful in just general fat assimilation. Um, so that's a big one. Leaky gut, which yeah, that's a component of it, right? So
Mhm.
again, it's when you're healed and when you have an ideal body, I don't care. Like it does not matter how much oxalates. It's like FODMAPs. Who cares how many FODMAPs you eat?
Right.
Our bodies are designed to eat FODMAPs, fermentable oligosaccharides, polysaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. Um, or I might have said that slightly wrong, but our bodies are designed to eat foods with oxalates like spinach and dark chocolate. Like who cares? The problem is when there is leaky gut. And we can use a lever basically to say, okay, I am going to pull back on my high oxalate, medium oxalate foods to bring down my oxalate load. Um, Another thing that this actually doesn't say, because I'm looking at the last two, not enough good bacteria in the GI tract, which kind of like reiterates the first point in genetic mutations, which is like, it's so they're acknowledging it's a possibility. It's never been the reason that I've had clients with high oxalate. So I always like poo-poo that one. Like, right. The one thing it doesn't mention here is candida directly makes oxalates. And just go and look over at this second page on the oat. So here's your Krebs cycle. It's how we make energy. And if you have candida interrupts the Krebs cycle right here, and it takes this isocitrate and turns it into glyosylate. I don't say that one very often. And then it makes an oxalate. We get an oxalate out of it. So candida overgrowth, which you didn't have, but I was also a little intrigued by your oat. Like, I just wasn't sure how I felt about this first section. You generally have very low markers for both candida and mold, which I'm like, dude, you're either like killing it, like you're in a really good spot, and those are just not a component of what you have going on. But I also do keep in mind that this marker down here that says high methylation, high toxic exposure, when this is high, sometimes I keep the window open for the potential that you do have mold or candida in the body. You're just not excreting their toxic waste, so we're not seeing it in the urine. But I like to do a little bit innocent until proven guilty. I just like to keep it on the back burner that if you go through a bunch of protocols and you kind of plateau in how much you're improving, you're like, I improved a little bit, but it really doesn't feel like a full amount. And every time I reintroduce foods or reduce my supplements, things go wah wah or whatever. Then we might want to consider retesting the oat. And even just the first page of the oat, we call that the moat.
Oh, okay.
Microbial. It's cheaper. It's not in your lab ordering thing, but we can do it for you if we think that's like, if we really think it's relevant. We just don't want to confuse people and people just be like, it's cheaper, I'll buy it. Like, that's not how it works. But we could do that to just like really double check, is there any chance that, with your liver and like just not being able to digest fats, which likely means your liver's not doing so great, is there a chance you're underreporting your current like toxin status? Potentially. But yeah, like it's not like an absolute. So for, again, oxalates, I think for you, it's going to be fat malabsorption. From the testing we have, fat malabsorption and leaky gut, right? We're going to kind of leave candida on the back burner as a potential thing because right now I have no reason to think you have it. And that's my spiel.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I saw that too. I'm like, oh man, that's not a good number on the, and I've done GI maps before and that's never been that high. So I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah. Sometimes it'll get a little higher too if you've been eating a fat heavier diet, which isn't always bad, but really, like, if you had a really ideal situation going on, you could be full keto and that number is going to be low. So,
right. Okay. Yeah. I try not to eat a lot of saturated fat because I don't think I tolerate it well, but I do have red meat, which I know is saturated fat. And I'll have coconut milk, which is saturated, right? So
it doesn't matter if it's saturated or unsaturated, just fat, by the way. So it's
okay.
avocados.
But I definitely like nuts
yogurt.
and olive oil and all that stuff. So I definitely
I'm
have
pro-fat.
that.
My takeaway is not stop eating fat. My takeaway is help you digest the fat.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Get rid of the H. pylori, bring up the stomach acid, support the liver.
Yes. Yeah. I just started the H. pylori protocol a week ago, maybe. But it's funny, as soon as I started the Maternity when did we start? Sunday? I think we started Sunday. And my husband and I. My stools all of a sudden I'm not getting this is gross, but diarrhea. They're formed, but now it's like so mucus, like the fat is not being absorbed, like a lot of wipes. You know what I mean? Like it's thick. I'm like,
good. So you're getting out some old gunk. Yep. You're clearing out.
Okay.
Yep. That mucus is often a sign of the body trying to get crap out. And it can happen for a variety of reasons. I usually find that people are getting it when they've been uber constipated because nothing's coming out and the body's like trying to like get it all out, or if they just have a lot of microbial overgrowth. And so you're getting this like film. And so even though you've been pooping a lot, if it's more loose stool, you're like, oh, look, at least it's coming out. It's like, it's still not like the kind of high quality situation you're going for. So that's great. I mean, and it's amazing because I think I glanced at your H. pylori, it wasn't red, like, right? It wasn't the like, oh, you're on fire, right? And you're already seeing that. I know it's making a difference. It's impacted.
Yeah, with the protocol is definitely changing. Yeah.
I love it. And didn't you? Oh yeah, you were the one who shared that you're less bloated on the, I think, right? On the, or maybe that was someone else.
Oh, it might have been someone else, but I feel like I am. I still, yeah, still there at times. That's, yeah.
Great. But
Like
here's the
you were
thing,
talking
guys.
about bubbly water. Like I can't wait till I can have that because I
Here's
can't
the
right now.
thing. We have to focus. I really want to encourage everyone here. This is for everybody because I am seeing a pattern right now in the group, just with our active members. And I know not some people are just like, they're like, you guys like just started. So like, no shame here, but do take this. This is great advice, very important for all of us. Celebrate your wins, really, even if it's not like, because even with that, you're like, yes, but it's not always gone. That's sure. Don't like sugarcoat it. Don't tell me it's better than it is, but really be like, look, it used to be 7 days a week and now it's 4, or it used to be all
Mm-hmm.
day and now it's only in the evening or whatever. Or it used to be an 8 out of 10 during the day and now it's a 3 out of 10, even if it's all day. Whatever it is, that's a win. That is a change. You have made a difference. And a lot of times when we're used to looking for all my problems, signs that I'm broken, proof that I need fixing, our brains are hyper attentive to the
Mm-hmm.
negative things, and that can both make us like anxious and discouraged. And also the positive things are actually just as much data, like true data, where sometimes when someone says, Allison, why am I not healed yet? And I've been on like coaching calls with somebody and then they're like, well, actually, I don't get migraines anymore. It wasn't their main symptom. Maybe they're like, I used to get migraines once a month, like right before my period. And I've had 2 periods and didn't have any migraines for both of them. And I'm like, that's a sign that you're going to have some symptoms get better. Some might get worse. Some might stay the same. But if you have any getting better, immediate proof that you're on the right track. We want to
Okay.
clamp onto those wins.
Yes.
Share them loud and proud. That's why every week we have what are your wins? And it's been a little silent on that thread. And I'm like, I
That's
know
true.
people are probably seeing improvements. I think people are also seeing things they're feeling discouraged about or they're distracted by. The protocols seeming complex or the cost of things or certain symptoms not going away that they wish would just go away. But yeah, really, I want to encourage people to think about a win that they could share and there just as like a muscle, like lifting a weight, just like little activity, like I'm going to share something. And again, if you're new here, you don't have to do any of that. But I mean, wins also count. Somebody said, hey, I ordered on my lab. I'm like, that's a huge win.
Yes.